Ryan Mead is a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and former marching band member from the Sutherland Shire in Sydney who is now living in Boston, where he attends Berklee College of Music. He's coming home for a few weeks and a few shows, and he may have other things in the works. I'm going to find out. It's been a while since I've spoken to him. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And I have been keeping track of your activities on socials. Unsurprisingly, you have been busy, but I'm going to first ask you about college, your first year of college. How has it been?
It's been amazing. I absolutely love it here. It's been one of the best experiences of my life. I couldn't have asked for more.
That's amazing. So, did you have any expectations before you went over?
I kind of came in with a few because I'd done a summer program at Berkeley before. So, I knew Boston well enough and I knew a bit what to expect, but obviously those summer programs are meant to be pretty light and breezy. So
Hmm.
it definitely took some adjusting and the work was different, but you know, I any expectations I did have were met positively and exceeded, if anything.
Which is, yeah, the best possible outcome. Curious because obviously there are, you can do a degree in music at a university. Berkeley is dedicated to music, so I'm wondering if from what I've heard with university degrees, it's sort of structured like you have a focus. It's either a songwriting focus or performance focus or something like that. Is Berkeley structured that sort of way, or are you just doing a whole lot of things?
No, Berkeley is structured that way. The degree I'm doing is a little bit more flexible. It's called professional music, and it's I wouldn't quite say it's build your own degree, but you kind of get to pick two or three courses that you would do and kind of mix them all into one. So you do get a bit of everything. So I'm doing mainly music business, but I'm also doing a lot of performance and songwriting while I'm here, kind of getting the best of everything.
Okay, that's really interesting about music business. Because I think before you left, you were already really entrepreneurial in that you were, because at the first time we spoke, I think you were just out of school and you were already playing a lot. So you clearly knew how to manage your business. But I would also think that's the personality that thinks there's always more I can learn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've learned so much and obviously things work differently in Australia and America on that front. But I've always kind of had a real interest in that. Before I set on Berkeley, I was teed up to do a double degree of business and law at Wollongong, which
Right.
I let fall to the wayside to come over here. So I've definitely always had kind of my eye on that world. But I think yeah, I couldn't think of a better place to learn about some of that stuff.
Well, as someone who has done a law degree and never practiced law, I can't say to you that you missed out there. So,
Yeah.
but look, it's a good education. That's all I can say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, obviously there are differences between Australia and America, and you're spending your time there at the moment. But are there things that you're learning and experiencing that you're thinking Australia could do this a little better? Because obviously the Americans are quite advanced in terms of an entertainment economy.
Yeah, there's pros and cons. I think that in country and some of the more rootsy genres like your bluegrass and your folk, like the Americans have just been doing it so long that
Hmm.
they are well on ahead. So I mean, I've definitely had some experiences with some bluegrass stuff up here in Boston, and then some country stuff down in the South, which we just don't have. That being said, huge props to Australia. The way the live music scene works behind closed doors, it's not perfect, but I actually think Australia's kind of does better than American for some of us like smaller artists. It's definitely really interesting to see. Boston's a bit interesting because everyone goes to Berkeley. You've got so many musicians in one place that everyone's kind of willing to play anywhere and everywhere. So it's been interesting seeing how the scenes work. But I'd say the US just has the culture to go along with the music when it comes to country, and that's been really interesting to see firsthand.
Because you have been playing a lot. I've been keeping track on your socials, and it seems like almost every day you are on stage in different places. So you mentioned playing down south. So while you've been there, obviously you've got to spend most of your time in Boston. But have you been ranging around, finding different
Absolutely.
venues?
Yeah. I'm on summer break at the moment over here, so we get a ridiculous amount of time off of school. So I kind of kicked that off by straight away going down on this huge road trip, and I went to Nashville and all around Tennessee, and then North Carolina and South Carolina and Georgia. And then I flew back up to Boston, and then we played a show in Boston. And then we ducked up to New York, and we played a gig in Harlem in New York City, which I reckon we were very well the first country band they've ever had in Harlem. But came back, did some more in Boston, and then recently we darted across to Colorado, and now I'm back here before heading home.
So, if that gig in Harlem, for example, are these things that you're actually planning well ahead? Because, as I said, when you were in Sydney before you moved over there, you were great at getting your gig schedule going. It was really prolific. So, are you doing that, for example, while you're traveling around? You're planning ahead. You're contacting venues. You're essentially planning gigs as you go.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. There's some of the legal ramifications in America change up how easy it is to do that. So actually, all of my gigs I run through the Berklee Popular Music Institute called BPMI, and it's part of their program because otherwise there would be some ramifications on that front. So I make sure to do everything by the book and make sure that I'm in the clear.
Yeah, and by ramifications, we'll just say because you're a student, and it's a good idea to do that. Yeah. So it also looks like a lot of what you've been doing has just been like these incredibly great jams. Just from what I've seen of the clips, is just you're playing with musicians in a particular environment, and it just seems to be this free flowing creative experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Berklee's taught me a lot on that front. Berklee has an amazing bluegrass program. Their country program's great, but I'd say aside from the jazz world, that bluegrass is definitely where Berklee kind of lives. And learning off those musicians, they know how to jam. Like their idea of fun is sitting around in a circle and just playing for hours and hours. And luckily, the country guys here are a lot like that as well. Which means that we get to just rub off on each other and try new things, and it's been really amazing to be surrounded by such a high caliber of musicians just everywhere that I feel like I'm out of my league, but I just try and keep up and learn as much as I can.
Yeah, I've seen you play live, right? I don't know that you'd be out of anyone's league, but people can come and see you when you're back in Australia and find that out for themselves. While you're there as well, are those connections also leading to songwriting?
Yes, absolutely. I've written more songs in the past 2 months than I think I have my entire life.
Okay.
With all these festival dates, there was a real push that there was a lot of original music, which was the way I wanted to do it. But you can't get up on some of these stages and just play covers for an hour. That's
Oh.
just doesn't cut it. So I kind of went into this panic mode of, oh my God, I need another 4 or 5 songs quickly. So on that road trip down through the South, we'd get to a new place, and I was camping the whole time, and I would just sit and I'd write out a song, and if it was good, that was great. If not, you throw it into the fire pit and you'd move on to the next one. And I just tried to kind of come out of that as quickly as possible with as many songs, and then I go back to Boston and could kind of go to that network and say to everyone like, hey, I've got these songs. Who wants to help? Who wants to edit? And kind of with this amazing community of writers, we got to polish some stuff, up in time.
I love the ruthlessness of it. Into the fire pit.
Yeah, chuck it. Just chuck it.
But I think
Some
that also,
songs need to be chucked.
yeah, I think it also speaks to the mentality that of not believing that the ideas are finite, right? It's like I don't need to clutch on to that idea that may not be working because there are others that also I need to clear out the dead wood in order to get to
Yep.
the others.
No, absolutely. And I think it's just if you write enough bad songs, hopefully at some point a decent one will come along, and that's the one you run with. So if you have to throw 5 into the fire to get a good one, that's worth it.
Yeah. No, I totally understand and appreciate that attitude. Now, you mentioned that you needed some original music for festival dates. One of these festivals was Country Jam in Colorado in June. That sounds like as Becky Cole would call it, a rootin' tootin' boot scootin' good time. So was it that?
Absolutely. It was one of the coolest gigs I've played in my life.
Wow.
We got off stage, and I was talking to the whole band, and at various points we were all talking about, we had just that pinch me moment on stage, which is we're playing this festival with some pretty amazing company, but we're standing on stage, and our stage is looking directly at the Rocky Mountains in the background.
Wow.
And we were all just like we had to pinch ourselves. It was just something different.
Yeah. So were there other festivals around that time to play?
Yeah, there was some festivals. So before that, I ducked up to Summerfest in Milwaukee,
Mm.
which was an amazing experience. I spent a bit of time in Milwaukee as a kid. My parents used to live there, so it was kind of go back and see some old friends. But then to play Summerfest, which I'd kind of always heard people talk about there, was really cool to go and see that myself. Alongside that, before we did that, we got to open for a country band called Low Cash.
Oh yeah.
So we did that here in Boston. So it's been amazing. The festival scene's really cool over here. They're incredibly hospitable, and they're so much fun to be a part of.
So when you say we, it sounds like you might have an American band.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Who is in this band?
Yeah. So the band is an eclectic bunch. So my bass player is my best friend, Ashan Banerjee, who's Indian, which he's doing his best to set a record to be the first Indian country bass player. So we haven't fact checked that yet, but we're hoping. So he pretty much, when it was time to go to Colorado, and I found that out through Berklee, I said like, hey, he'd never played bass before. He was a piano player. I was like, man, I really want you to come on this holiday. Basically, it sounds like a really good time.
Yeah.
How quickly do you reckon you could pick up the bass? Because I knew he was a decent guitar player. And he's like, I got it, dude, 100%. Sure enough, after a week, he sent me back a video of him playing the hardest song on the set, just note perfect. And I just went, let's do it. So he came in on bass. And then on pedal steel, I have a friend called Asher Roseman who's playing that. And he's amazing. That guy shreds. He absolutely rips it. It's kind of like watching Eddie Van Halen play guitar, but on a pedal steel. It's ridiculous. And then on fiddle and a bit of guitar, I've got a mate called Drew Kafia, who is doing that. He's a funny bloke, and he soars on a fiddle. Every show we always give him a chance to really just shred on it. And he plays Devil Went Down to Georgia once a set too, and just goes ham on that thing. And then back on kit, we've got Tyler Stravedio, who's our drummer, and he's just amazing. That guy can hit it like no one else.
So, given that you actually haven't been in the States that long, this is pretty good work assembling a band in this time. So, did you arrive and think, all right, I need to get a band together because I want to have a band to play shows, or did this kind of happen just organically?
It happened semi-organically. So Berklee reached out and were like, hey, we want to send you to these festivals. Do you reckon you could get a band together? And at the time, I knew about Asher as a pedal steel player. We had been good mates for a while, and Ashan, kind of like I said, was a bit of an impromptu hire upon learning the bass. But we tried it with a little band, and it sounded good, but they told us we could bring an extra person with us. And we ended up having to swap out our drummer to Tyler in the end, which has been amazing. But Drew, we picked Drew up for rehearsal kind of maybe 2 months before these festivals. And 2 months is a long time, but that's still kind of last minute when you've got to learn all this music. And we brought him in as a guitar player because I knew he played country guitar really well. And I was like, well, do you want to come and do that? And he said, sure. And we were talking about that. And I was really torn between a fiddle and a guitar because I knew what a guitar would sound like. But coming to America, you've got fiddle players and you've got pedal steel players available. I really wanted a fiddle player, but I couldn't find any who could really play country. So Drew came in to play guitar. And then after 3 rehearsals, he casually dropped the fact that he had played fiddle for 8 years as a kid and was completely proficient on the instrument. He went from this decision, he's like, oh, I'll just do both. Don't worry about it, mate. And sure enough, that's what he's been doing ever since. So the band's just kind of fluked its way into place in a really amazing way. But those 4 guys are just lovely, lovely people. They're my best mates too. Like we rehearse and we play, but then we're all hanging out behind the scenes as well.
It's almost like you manifested the fiddle player, right? There's a lot of if
a little bit.
TikTok at all, manifestation is really big right now. So I'm thinking you've manifested that fiddle player.
No, pretty much.
Yeah. So I also like that you sort of casually said then that Berklee reached out and said they wanted to send you to festivals. Now I can't imagine that they're doing this for every student, that they're saying, "Hey, we're going to send you all across the country." So it sounds like you made a bit of an impression at Berklee.
Yeah, how that all came about. I mean, I feel almost a deal of guilt on how that came about because Berkeley has this big application process for BPMI where hundreds and hundreds of students here kind of sign up, and there's about 6 or 7 festivals, and usually it's one festival per genre. And a whole bunch of country kids at Berkeley, I'm sure, signed up, and I had a professor in my music business class go, Ryan, you should sign up for this. And I was kind of, I don't know, I don't have a band yet, and I really don't have that much music out. Like, I don't know if that's the best idea. And he was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So he signed me up anyway and put my name in the running. So sure enough, I get a message from one of the people in the program going like, hey, can you send us some videos? I was like, I think like you guys are mistaken. I didn't apply. They're like, well, you kind of did. We'll explain later. Can you send some videos through? And I went, sure. So I sent some stuff through and they just went, cool. And I didn't hear anything. And then I got an email from kind of the coordinator of the program. And she said, we want to come by and like get to know you. Do you want to come around and we'll just have a chat? And I was like, sure. Like, we're no idea where this is going, but this could be great. And I walked in and on the spot, they said, you're the guy, you're going to do these festivals. So it completely, I cannot be more thankful than to the Professor Wares, who kind of threw my hat in the ring, but it's worked out amazing.
I would imagine Professor Wes knew exactly why to recommend you because, as I said, I've seen you play live and you are fantastic. And when you said not much recorded music out, I should have mentioned at the top the single you released last year was called Tangled Up in Wranglers, still one of the best song titles ever, as far as I'm concerned. And you may have a new single coming.
Yeah, we've got lots in the works. There may be more than one coming too, which is great. With all that new music that I had to write, naturally we've picked up some new favorites, which will be fun to play in Australia. So if anyone's coming to those shows, you'll get to hear them a bit early. Um, but yeah, Berkeley's got some amazing recording facilities, which I fully intend to abuse while I'm here. So I'm going to do my best to get something out pretty quick, and we've got some stuff already in the works that'll be coming out soon.
So I'm curious, when you're recording at Berkeley, do you arrange your own producer, or is that also part of the program? Like there might be people studying music production, so you might bring them in, or can you bring in an outside producer if you want one, or are you inclined to produce yourself?
It's a mix of everything. There are some incredible producers here who are, you've got 18-year-old and 19-year-olds, and you listen to their body of work, and you go, oh my god, like, and some of them have worked with A-list artists on the radio. You've got people that have done some producing and snippets for Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo and stuff. And then you have class with them and you go like, hey, do you reckon you could touch this up for me? They're like, yeah, of course. So I think there's no reason not to take the Berkeley kids. You kind of have to keep, stopping and going, oh my God, like that person did that. And, I have social sciences with them at 3 today. So, you can get your own producer. I think that Berkeley's got so much talent that I'm really inclined to work with a lot of the kids here and um, try and really like get amongst the community and let people all help you and work together because people are willing to do touch ups and they genuinely just want the best sound and the best finished product possible.
It sounds like an incredibly creative, collaborative, fruitful, and fertile environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you
It's
mentioned
great.
the shows coming back to Australia, and you are heading this way. You have some shows starting in the second half of July, and you're here for about 6 weeks. Your schedule's already on your website. So, from the music business side, perfect because you've diligently announced all of the shows. Jolene's is a venue that you played at quite a bit before, and you could have come back and thought, I'll try some different places. Why do you like playing Jolene's?
Jolene's is just the best venue ever. For many reasons. One is I think that's kind of the epicenter of of a lot of young artists, kind of in Sydney, and the team there works really hard to make it a cool place. It's also a great bar. Like there's been many times where I haven't been playing a gig where I drop in and I have a beer there. It's just a cool place to be. It's got an amazing vibe. the staff there are amazing. Simon and Lucy are just incredible people. Their staff tend to always be lovely, and I just think it's a great fit as a venue to go in and play some classic country covers and some new stuff. And they've always been so supportive that, it's just I tell Simon I'm coming home, and he just opens up a folder and he goes, write your name where you want it. Let's do it. So I couldn't ask for a better venue or people to work with.
And I should say it's right in the middle of Sydney CBD. It's on York Street, and I am a Sydney person, so I know exactly where it is. In fact, I was there last night at the time we're speaking, and it's very close to public transport. For anyone who's thinking, oh, Sydney City, no, there's no excuse. It's very close to Wynyard Station, Town Hall Station, all sorts of things. So when you play there, I think you're playing a few different permutations of Ryan. You are doing solo, duo, and band, if that's correct.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So solo, pretty self-explanatory. Then as a duo, I'm actually bringing that pedal steel player Asher with me for a few weeks. So the two of us are gonna do a little steel acoustic thing and play some kind of classic country and some stuff that we don't necessarily get around as a band. And then he's gonna sit in with those guys and kind of as a four-piece, we're gonna do our best to get around some new tunes and some old ones and put on a good time.
Now, your Australian band includes your father on drums, and or it did last time I saw you, and the world's most enthusiastic bass player, Max.
Yes, Max is just a. If you don't like country, I'd just come to see Max. That guy is the. He knows how to put on a good time. I think I'd pay a good entry fee to just come and watch him play with the bass unplugged. That guy knows how to have a good time.
He does. And also, look, it's great for your dad, I'm sure, to not only have you back, but to have a chance to make music with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I know he's looking forward to it. He came out to those festivals in the state, and I think he was just itching to get up there. But he in Milwaukee, actually, he get up and played at a venue in town there. So I think he's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to playing with him, obviously. That's always a good time, and that's something I really cherish. So I'm looking forward to get back into that.
Now, will the band be traveling with you to Queensland? Because I know you have some shows there, and you're also playing close to home in the Sutherland Shire as well.
Yeah, the band will be coming up to Queensland. We're playing 3 dates up there. Unfortunately, Asher has to head back to the States, but the three of us are heading up, and for one of those shows, we're picking up an impromptu band member as well. So yeah, we're gonna go up and kind of give Queensland a crack, which will be new for me. I haven't done a gig up there before, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's such a hub for country music in Brisbane.
Yeah, it's true. It has really developed into that. So this is on your college break. You're coming back for 6 weeks. You're playing a lot of shows. Ryan, have you ever taken a holiday?
This is a holiday. It's been great. I'm enjoying every second of it. I mean, I've been darting around the country. I think this counts personally. um, I'm not doing any homework. I've been living in and out of the mountains now for about 2 months, so I can't complain.
And I guess it's also, yeah, when you love playing live, as I know you do, because you can see it whenever you play live. It's probably the biggest kind of break in that you're very present in what you're doing. Like that's the best mental break as well.
Yeah, I haven't worked a day on stage in complete honesty. Like it's I just rock up and have fun for 3 hours and then go home pretty much. So that's not changing anytime soon, and I'm looking forward to coming back home and doing that. Obviously being home is going to be a great deal of fun too.
Yeah. I'm curious though, when you do play for like 3 hours and you love it so much, is it kind of hard to adjust to life off stage in a way? Because that's obviously, where you flourish, and it's not to say that you don't off stage, but I would think from an energetically, I don't know what I was trying to say, energetic point of view or energy management point of view, it must be a bit of adjusting. Like I've had this 3 hours, it's amazing. And then, oh, now I'm off stage.
Yeah, they're very quiet car rides home. That's for sure. Everyone's just kind of nice and chill. But I don't know. I make a great effort to not be too different on and off stage in general. Like I don't want to have to put on a front every time I get on stage. Otherwise, that'd be a pretty long acting gig. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say that No, like there's definitely a difference between dancing around and sweating out and everything. But yeah, I think I don't take myself too seriously on the stage or off the stage, so it ends up being pretty similar.
Yeah, right. Well, Ryan, I'm looking forward to seeing you playing when you're back home. It was a must book for me as soon as you told me you were coming back. I pulled out the gig schedule and booked in the dates in my diary. So anyone who's listening or watching, if you're in the Sydney area or you're going to be in Brisbane when Ryan's playing, I do recommend you go and see him and the band. I'm going to leave it there for now, Ryan, but I look forward to seeing you back home. Thanks for your time.
Sounds good. I'll see you then. Thank you.